Hiring a CRM admin. Best practices for roles. The real reason reps hate your CRM. If your reps hate the CRM, it's rarely because they're lazy. It's because the system wasn't designed to match how they actually sell. Most B2B teams buy Salesforce or HubSpot, do a quick setup, and then pile on fields, workflows, and integrations until the CRM becomes a maze. The result is predictable. Reps work around it, managers stop trusting it, and leadership can't see a clean picture of pipeline. The failure rate tells the story. Roughly 70% of CRM projects fail, primarily due to adoption and process issues, not because the software is bad. When adoption slips, everything downstream breaks. Lead follow-up becomes inconsistent, stages lose meaning, and forecasting turns into a weekly argument instead of a decision tool. A CRM admin isn't just a Salesforce person you keep on payroll to click around in settings. The right hire is a revenue-facing operator who makes the CRM easier for SDRs and AEs, more reliable for managers, and more actionable for outbound. Whether you run in-house prospecting or partner with a cold calling agency or outbound sales agency like ours at SalesHive. Why the CRM admin role is a revenue lever, not an IT ticket. The best way to think about a CRM admin is time and truth. They protect seller time by reducing clicks, manual entry, and confusion. And they protect the truth in your reporting by making sure the definitions behind dashboards and pipeline stages are consistent enough to run the business. When CRM is used well, companies are 86% more likely to exceed sales goals. But most teams never capture that upside because reps still spend only 28 to 53% of their week actually selling. That gap is where a strong admin wins, by removing friction so reps can make calls, run discovery, and move deals forward. Even with shifting expectations, CRM can still pay off. Research shows that organizations average about $3.10 returned for every $1 invested in CRM when implementation and governance are handled well. The admin is the person who turns "we bought a tool" into "we got measurable productivity and pipeline visibility." Define the role around outcomes, not tools. One of the most expensive mistakes we see is writing a vague Salesforce wizard job description. You end up attracting a mix of junior generalists and overqualified architects, but neither group is explicitly accountable for outcomes like data quality, lead flow, or rep productivity. Your CRM admin role should be written around your go-to-market motion: outbound-heavy SDR team, multi-touch ABM, channel-led, or a blended inbound-outbound model. Tool fluency still matters. Salesforce alone holds roughly 31% of the global CRM market, so it's reasonable to prioritize Salesforce experience if that's your core system. But don't hire for tools instead of outcomes. In interviews, you want candidates who can diagnose a broken lead routing process, tighten opportunity stage definitions, and simplify page layouts in a way that aligns with how your team qualifies and closes. Before you post the role, align internally on 4 to 5 outcomes you want your admin to own. Then hire and measure to those. This is also where sales outsourcing and external partners come into play. If you run an outsourced sales team, a sales development agency, or cold email agency to generate pipeline, your admin must design fields, statuses, and reporting that make outsourced activity visible and accountable inside your CRM instead of living in shadow systems. When to hire and what level you actually need. A practical rule is to start your search once you hit about 8 to 10 quota-carrying reps, including SDRs, or you're running more than one motion. For example, mid-market outbound plus enterprise ABM. Waiting longer tends to backfire. By the time pipeline reviews start with "these numbers don't look right," you're not hiring an admin, you're funding a cleanup project. The market also makes it easier to be selective than many leaders assume. In 2025, Salesforce admin supply grew 47%, while demand grew only 14%, and admins represented about 9% of listings. That means you can prioritize candidates who can operate as admin plus RevOps, especially if you need someone who can sit close to pipeline, forecasting, and SDR execution rather than purely handle configuration. If you're earlier stage or your stack is still evolving, fractional support can be the right bridge. For teams running a straightforward outbound motion, especially those using cold calling services, pay-per-meeting lead generation, or a B2B sales agency, fractional CRM ownership can stabilize lead routing, logging, and reporting without the overhead of a full-time hire, while still setting you up for a clean transition to an in-house admin later. A CRM admin isn't there to keep the system running. They're there to make selling easier and pipeline reporting believable. What great CRM admins do in their first 90 days. Your onboarding plan determines whether the admin becomes a ticket taker or a true owner. In the first few weeks, we recommend stakeholder interviews across sales leadership, SDR management, AEs, marketing ops, and anyone responsible for lead sources, including a cold calling team or outsourced SDR partner. The goal is to document your real lead-to-opportunity process, not the idealized version living in a slide deck. Next comes a focused data quality and workflow audit. If reps are manually logging everything, you'll see it quickly. Salespeople spend an average of 5.9 hours a week manually logging data into CRM. A strong admin will identify where automation, integrations, and page layout simplification can immediately save rep time without compromising reporting integrity. Finally, the admin should ship quick wins while building a roadmap. Fix lead routing, remove unused fields, standardize lifecycle statuses, tighten validation rules only where they're truly necessary. Done well, these changes reduce rep friction and make outbound execution, calls, emails, and list building services far more trackable inside the CRM. Run CRM governance like a product backlog. The second big mistake teams make is treating the admin like a request machine. When every executive, SDR, and AE can fire off "add this field" requests, your CRM becomes a Frankenstein of one-off customizations. Adoption drops because the system gets harder to use every month, even if every single change sounded reasonable in isolation. Instead, your admin should run a formal intake process and a release cadence. In practice, that looks like a lightweight monthly CRM council where requests are grouped into themes, tied to revenue outcomes, and prioritized based on impact. This is the difference between "we customized Salesforce a lot" and "we improved lead response, pipeline hygiene, and forecasting accuracy." This approach also protects your outbound engine. If you work with a B2B cold calling services provider, an SDR agency, or your own internal SDR pod, you need stable definitions for dispositions, lead statuses, and conversion points. When those definitions shift weekly, your dashboards become noise, and you can't accurately evaluate what's working across channels like telemarketing, cold email, and LinkedIn outreach services. KPIs that actually measure CRM admin impact. Measuring a CRM admin by keeping the CRM running guarantees vague performance and missed expectations. We recommend tying success to metrics sales leadership already cares about: rep productivity, pipeline visibility, and reporting reliability. You can still include system health, but it shouldn't be the main event. A helpful starting point is a balanced scorecard that includes adoption, data quality, operational efficiency, and reporting trust. Some organizations find it useful to baseline the biggest pain points first. For example, 17% of companies cite manual data entry as their biggest CRM challenge, and 16% say their sales team simply doesn't use the CRM. Those are solvable problems, but only if you measure them directly and improve them over time. To make this concrete without drowning in metrics, here's a simple framework you can adapt. It keeps the focus on outcomes while giving your admin clear targets that connect to revenue execution and outbound performance. Align CRM administration with outbound execution. Most teams plan CRM admin hiring and outbound separately, but they're tightly coupled. Outbound only scales when list quality, lead statuses, routing rules, and activity capture are consistent. If those fundamentals are shaky, even the best cold callers and best cold calling services will struggle to produce reliable pipeline because results can't be attributed, followed up, or improved systematically. This is where we see the best admins operate like RevOps partners. They define what contacted, working, qualified, and recycled mean, then enforce those definitions with automation and training. They ensure your dialer, email tools, and enrichment vendors write back to the right objects in the right format, so your B2B list building services and outreach don't create duplicate records or conflicting lifecycle statuses. At SalesHive, we design outbound programs to plug cleanly into the CRM because messy data undermines everything from segmentation to personalization to reporting. If you're evaluating sales outsourcing, an outsourced B2B sales motion, or pay-per-appointment lead generation, your CRM admin should be part of the conversation early so the program produces clean, structured data your leadership team can actually use. Next steps. Make the role a revenue function. Treat your CRM admin as part of RevOps, not IT. When the role reports close to sales operations and pipeline reviews, prioritization naturally shifts toward adoption, lead flow, and sales productivity. When it sits under IT, priorities often skew toward technical neatness, while frontline pain, routing delays, bad page layouts, unclear stages keeps compounding. If you're about to hire, start with clarity. Document your lead to opportunity process. Decide whether you need an admin or an admin plus RevOps profile, and build a 90-day plan that includes a data audit, routing fixes, and reporting cleanup. This gives candidates a real problem to solve in interviews, and it sets expectations that the job is about outcomes, not endless configuration. And if you're not ready for a full-time hire, stabilize the system first so you can make a smarter, long-term decision. Whether you lean on fractional support or pair CRM improvements with an outbound sales agency, the goal is the same: clean data, reliable process, and fewer hours lost to manual work so your team spends more time selling and less time babysitting software.